have witnessed what can only be described as a national disgrace, scenes we never thought we would see here in our nation's capital. An angry, violent mob, numbering in the thousands, stormed the U.S. Capitol building after being egged on by the outgoing president of the United States, who still today refuses to admit defeat. He encouraged them to march on the Capitol as Congress began to read the Electoral College votes. Some of them fought their way into the building, battling with Capitol Police, not only outside, but inside. They briefly took over offices and briefly even the Senate chamber. There were gunshots and at least one person was shot and killed. At least 7 others taken to hospitals. The House and Senate, in a remarkable, unprecedented move, were evacuated. Debate on objections to the vote were halted. The electoral votes themselves, however, were secured, an aide gathering them quickly, bringing them to the same place that senators and lawmakers were being kept safe by law enforcement officials. Tonight, we can report that the Capitol is secure. The House and the Senate are resuming their work of counting the electoral votes from the presidential election. But still here in our nation's capital, under a state of emergency, under a citywide lockdown since 6 p.m. Eastern Time, law enforcement throughout the streets, 1,100 National Guard enacted to help police, as well as other local area police. President Trump at one point called on the mob to go home, but his tweets were also sympathetic to the mob. And tonight, Twitter and Facebook have blocked the president's account for the next 12 hours. In Delaware, we heard from President-elect Joe Biden, who said our democracy was under unprecedented assault. He said America is so much better than this. In a phrase that we'll all remember, he said this was an attack on the citadel of democracy, the U.S. Capitol. Well, there's a lot of new reporting to share with you tonight. We've got an entire team of reporters across Washington to cover it all. We want to begin first with CBS's Chris Van Cleve, because he is just outside the U.S. Capitol. He was there amongst that mob all day and witnessed just what it took for law enforcement to try and push them back. Chris?
Well, Nora, it is quiet outside the Capitol in large part because of the small army of D.C. police and National Guard soldiers that were brought in to clear out the protesters. The crowd mostly gone at this point, and the nation's capital under a mandatory curfew tonight. The chaos erupted inside the Capitol this afternoon. A mob intent on blocking Joe Biden's presidency stormed the building, smashing windows, and at this entrance chasing one Capitol police officer into a retreat. In the hallway, the echo of a gunshot rang out, and a woman apparently hit. Police drew weapons as people tried to give her aid. In the Senate chamber, speeches were cut short as word spread the building had been breached.
Boss, protesters are in the building. Thank you.
Soon, protesters were in the Senate chamber itself. In the House chamber, police drew their weapons while the crowd banged.